This is how it must...
Seriously! Attack!
Look up there! That's the Jade Chamber! This is bad. Paimon's supposed to be your guide, but Paimon doesn't know where the way up to the Jade Chamber is. Well, since we want to go to the Jade Chamber, heading to its location on the map is the sensible thing to do. Let's look around. There has to be a way up there nearby. Hey, look! There's some sort of mechanism thingy. Since this is the right place, it must have something to do with the Jade Chamber. No way! Just trust Paimon's instincts.
by destiny! Barbados, guide us!
Force my blade! Spirit blade! Attack!
Let's make haste.
Need to end a few enemies? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Klee can help. Up to here. Aw, if that wind current was stronger, we'd be able to reach the top in one go. Huh? Why? Or... Oh, Paimon gets it. If it was a secret, Ganyu wouldn't have let us... All right, let's... Oh, hang on a moment. Looks like we've gotten close to the Guizhong Ballista. Why don't we shoot you up to the Jade Chamber using the ballista? No. Paimon may have just forgotten to think about this. Oh, that's right. Now that you mention it, we could use the Guizhong Ballista.
trespasses on these hallowed grounds?
Exactly. What are you talking about? We're invited guests. What makes you think you can treat us like this? No. Wait. Maybe this was Ningguang's plan all along. She pretended to invite us to the Jade Chamber, but set up a Millilith ambush here to arrest us. Now Paimon's mad. You, over there. This is a trick, isn't it? How shameless.
What? We're just on guard duty. What do you mean, shameless?
What nonsense! Seize these suspicious intruders at once!
Well, here they come.
One with my blade! From whence you came!
Who goes there?
Swift and merciful! From whence you came!
Take the target alive!
Forth, my blade!
Bested! To arms!
Shadows of...
Submit for judgment!
Stop! What's all this about?
Lady Kuching, these two strange people suddenly appeared. They seem to have designs on the Guizhong Ballista.
Who are you calling strange?
You want to go to the Jade Chamber? Who are you?
We're invited guests here to look for the Liyue Qixing. Who are you?
Well, as it happens, I am one of the Liyue Qixing.
Oh,
I'm Kuching, the Yuheng of the Qixing. I know of you, traveler. You're Ningguang's guests, yes? Didn't expect...
wow. Paimon didn't think we'd meet some super rich big shot out here in the middle of nowhere either.
The Guizhong Ballista in Tianheng Pass has long been in disrepair, and yet it was fixed in a single night. I came here to investigate. These Millilith are just here to guard the scene, not to arrest anyone.
So this was all a misunderstanding?
Anyway, for a mortal to be able to repair an Adepti mechanism is quite the mystery.
That was... Eh? Oh, right. So, Lady Yuheng, might you have any idea why Lady Tianquan invited us to go to the Jade Chamber?
Just call me Kuching. I'd say that Ningguang's purpose is to request that the savior of Mondstadt take a more neutral stance. Or at least, to not wholly side with the Adepti.
We're not taking sides. We spoke with the Adepti. They want to protect Liyue.
When you say protect, you're referring to their sanctimonious arrogance, aren't you?
Huh?
You are mortals, and thus under their protection. There was no way they would have regarded you as someone with the ability to assassinate a god. Naturally, they would also regard Ningguang's locking down the area, questioning the citizenry, and pursuit of the assassin to be pointless work. Perhaps they even wonder if there might be a cover. I'll say it like it is. They're underestimating us.
Well, you've got a point there. Still, this is the first time Paimon's seen a person from Liyue who doesn't respect the god.
Should I respect the shallow sense of time and condescension to mortals that has caused them to delay in moving against us, Qixing? Forget it. I shouldn't speak of them this way. This skepticism is mine alone, and Ningguang... Either way, I will admit that the actions of the Adepti this time were quite restrained. Rex Lapis's death is indeed an extraordinary circumstance. But to think that they would call for a council of Adepti rather than come down here directly. How surprisingly civilized of them. Well, for Ningguang, she would talk anything and everything out if she could. But I doubt we can do that here. The time of the Adepti has long passed. If even the Liyue Qixing don't want to face that truth, then what future— I'll stop here. Honestly, I hadn't intended to say so much. But you're a good listener, Traveler. You should both be off to the Jade Chamber. Don't be late now. Ningguang's schedule is packed to the gills all the way till next year. The cream of Liyue's mercantile crop all see ascending to the Jade Chamber as the greatest honor.
Favor? But, wait, that's right. Greeting gifts are a staple of Liyue's culture. We need to get one. Not to curry favor or anything, just to—
All right. You can decide on your greeting gift yourselves. You didn't actually have to come to Mount Tianheng. Go back to Liyue Harbor. Find it? Well then. May we meet again, Traveler.
Well, that Yuheng may not respect the gods, but Paimon thinks she's a pretty cool person. So, what should we give to Ningguang when we see her? Oh, right! Paimon dreamed of an amazing— Paimon has a feeling that it would be perfect for a suit. Why don't we go with that for a gift? With a certain boom shakalaka, of course. Let's go gather ingredients. Time waits for no one, and neither will our riches. Look at that slime! It looks crystal clear! And very delicious. That's the one! La la la! Huh? Is it just Paimon? Huh? Did you hear that? It seemed like it came from those ruins over there. Uh-oh. It looks like the
There's no end to this.
A touch of frost. Submit for judgment. Swift and merciful. Spirit Blade, attack!
Thank you for your help, kind travelers. If you hadn't come to my aid, I surely would have rotted in this cell. Those treasure hoarders, when their mood was good, they'd rearrange those pots of sweet flowers. When they were in a bad mood, they'd rearrange my—
Aw, it was nothing. No need to thank us all at once or anything.
I understand. Don't worry. Don't say that. I only escaped this predicament because of you. I'm Meng Dan, a supplier for Mingxing Jewelry in Liyue Harbor. I often walk around I never expected that those treasure hoarders would have their eyes on the same ruins that I had. Before I knew it, is there anything that you lack? Antiques, treasure, various knickknacks, you name it. Well, as long as you want what I have to offer, of course.
Wait a moment. Actually,
Oh? And what might that be?
do you have a box that can store presents? We'd like a pretty one.
Of course we do. How can one sell antiques without gift boxes? Now just give me a moment and I'll let the boss know. You can go see her whenever you require that.
Great! Paimon Sugar Frosted Slime now comes in a... Told us that we could get a nice and shiny box from your store.
Uncle Meng already told me about it. Thank you both for saving him. Many of the best goods in our store were found by Uncle Meng. If anything were to happen, here, this container is itself an antique, with at least 104...
Yep. It's... Hang on a moment.
Sure, please help yourselves.
Traveler, this clay pot looks really awesome. If we use an antique as our mixing bowl, we should be able to make... It's done! The one and only sugar-frosted slime! Carefully now.
Oh, yes. You might want to use these 2 freshly picked flowers as decoration.
Woohoo! It looks beautiful! Great! Now that we've put all that we've got into this box...
Join the Adventurers Guild. Yo. Excuse me, do you sell the moon here?
Yes. How many would you like?
It's not convenient to speak of numbers here.
Ah, well said. Please, use this to ascend to the chamber. Yes.
Yep.
And yet the code they used was not the one for guests, but for the Yuheng. What's going on here?
I've been waiting for you, returnee from Joyun Karst.
It's Ningguang! We've prepared a gift. I hope you like it.
Oh, for me. You have my thanks. It seems that I have made things difficult for you, considering that you were supposed to be my guests.
Oh no, it's nothing.
This palace floats in the skies, higher than the peak of any mountain. From this vantage point, one may survey all of Liyue. I have been gathering the funds necessary to build it from the time I began learning the merchant's craft. And since becoming the Tianquan, I have spared no effort in hiring the best craftsmen to constantly extend it. At first, it was but the size of one room. Now, it is large enough to blot out the moon in the sky. One day, I believe it will overshadow all 7 nations. Not many from outside Liyue earn the right to ascend to the Jade Chamber. But I have been in correspondence with the acting Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius, who spoke highly of you. As such, I have been putting eyes and ears out ever since you reached Liyue.
What?
And I finally got wind of your movements when you were on the way to Wangshu Inn.
Wait, was Ver Goldet one of your people?
Just Vergoldet? No. Everyone at Wangshu Inn is one of ours. At the Guizhang Ballista, yes?
You weren't peeking on us from the skies the whole time, were you?
I fear that peeking would have been a little difficult from this altitude. Our eyes and ears are more than sufficient. You two are very interesting people, after all. It would be natural to take an interest. Well, I wouldn't expect you to trust us, considering that you have had far more interactions with the Adepti. The reason I... I believe that you've heard of the Archon War. Many gods used to walk this earth, and many long wars were fought between them that did not abate until 2000. In the end, only 7 victors remained standing in Tevat. They built cities and nations on the corpses of the vanquished, and thus began the era of the... You can see Goyun Stone Forest from here, I trust. It is no natural rock formation. Those are giant spears of rock hurled by Rex Lapis during the war. Beneath the spears lie those cast down by Rex Lapis in those days, gods that failed to seize the title of Archon. Not only is it true that gods may die, but so too has the membership of the 7 changed over the last 2 millennia. Rex Lapis's passing is an unimaginable disaster for Liyue, but the Order of the 7 will not collapse simply because of that. Another Lord of Geo will arise sooner or later. Yet, how are we to forget Rex Lapis? When that time comes, the relationship between the people of Liyue and the gods and Adepti will surely be different from before. Even in a new era, the Liyue Qixing remain Rex Lapis's former subjects. Do you really think us capable of having played a part in his demise? Of lacking the foresight to see the... That day at Yujing Terrace, it was also very sudden. Even I was caught completely off guard. But our enemy has long lain hidden within the harbor. If we do not act against them now, they will surely gain the upper hand. Hiding the Exuvia was a necessary maneuver to take the initiative back, to play the spider while our foes skirt.
Who's this enemy enemy you're talking about.
What do you think, traveler?
Huh? What are you two talking about?
Well answered.
Huh?
The scenery out here is fine indeed, but the wind is a little strong. Our preparations to receive guests within.
Wowee! What a huge hall! Paimon's never seen such a fancy place before.
Be at ease, you two. Make yourselves at home.
Can we really?
I have invited you two here as friends. And when friends come over to play, our enjoyment comes first. Naturally.
Ooh! Isn't this that legend?
Why, you've kept your ear to the ground, I see.
That's because even the storytellers are talking about it. Everyone's after a piece of paper from that wall.
That's because that wall records Leo's secrets. Merchants have always been attracted to secrets, but the secrets of the mercantile world are of no interest to you, are they, traveler? You're rather special. If possible, I'd like to have your trust. But if you were to choose the more trustworthy person between myself and Kuching... You'd pick Kuching? Nah, I had a feeling. I originally thought her a bit too hard-headed. With someone of her character on the Qixing, I've had some extra messes to clean up behind the scenes. But after she said those words, the time of the Adepti has long passed. If even the Liyue Qixing don't want to face that truth, then what future? Well, I must say that quite a few of my doubts have been dispelled. I won't deny that Rex Lapis's passing seems advantageous to us. But for Liyue's sake, we cannot allow ourselves... Indeed. It seems that you understood what I meant to say from the very beginning. I called for the gag order and for the Exuvia to be hidden to temporarily stabilize the situation, and also to prevent something similar to the incident in Mons. With Rex Lapis's death, the Fatui have busied themselves with many clandestine actions beyond their diplomatic remit. As the Tianquan, one responsible for Liyue, I cannot... Allowing the rite of parting to take place was also meant to buy some time for us to take control...
It's exactly as Zhongli said. The Qixing only provided the venue for their rite so they could use us for their own end. Wait, that's right. Speaking of ends...
Of course.
Paimon's heard that anyone who sends a greeting gift gets a little something in return. So...
It's all right. Well, we have made quite a bit of trouble for you recently. How about this?
Yay! Paimon was just waiting for you to... One of the sheets on that wall! Don't look at Paimon like that! One of these sheets of paper will sell for crazy prices, even if it's only as large as Paimon's fingernail. Just imagine. How much more... Let's grab one! The biggest one! Huh? Well, that was an easy search. The biggest sheet is right up there in the most... La 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 la. Huh? There's a place marked with a circle on here. Oh, could it be treasure? Whatever it is. Sigil of permissions. Aw, that doesn't sound like... This piece of paper shows that a Qixing spy discovered traces of Oh, Ningguang did say that the Fatui have been up to all kinds of mischief in the shadows, but research on the Sigil of Permission? Paimon, speaking of which, there's also some connection between you and the Sigil of Permission. Seems there's still more for us to find out. Oh, you really think? Well, should we not go then? Oh, so you're saying that it's precisely because we can't completely trust Ningguang that we should That's way out of Paimon's league. Anyway, we'll see if you're onto something. Before we look for Zhongli at Dihua Marsh, let's go to the place marked out on these papers and see if the
So, you don't have to confirm it with me. Afterwards, why not sit down for a while in the Jade Chamber? Or have a short stroll? Rest it. Come now. There.
Sorry. Anything business related? This is good. Wang looks stunning today. This gives good market insight.
parchments here. And some stacks of blank paper, too. What are they for? Paimon's seen this pattern before. Oh, Paimon knows! It looks just like the sigil of permission the child gave you. But how did a relic of the Adepti end up in the hands of someone like... Oh, that's right. Cloud Retainer said that when the Lord of Geo created the Sigil of Permission, it wasn't to be used. Talismans like that were once used in the Archon War to channel divine power. Maybe the Fatui are copying the Sigil of Permission. Being able to channel divine power in battle? Whew, that sounds pretty... And the plot thickens. Alright, that's enough sticking around here. The last stop on our rite of parting preparations tour is Diwam. Let's go!
Right on time. I myself only arrived moment. Did you enjoy your visit to the Jade Chamber?
It was so big and pretty.
Indeed. It's second to none in all of Liyue. Then you met with Ningguang, I trust? What did you talk about?
She's super rich and so generous. Yeah, his take on Ningguang is quite different from Paimon's. He thinks that even the tactless Yuheng is more trustworthy than...
Oh, so you also met with Keqing then?
She said the time of the Adepti has long passed. If even the Liyue Qixing don't want to face that truth, then what future is there for Liyue?
No respect for the divine. Indeed, contrary to the ever-bold Keqing, Ningguang is more of a businesswoman at heart. Though they are both members of the... Although she's friendly, there's no way of clearly discerning her true intentions. Yes, she has only relied on herself to rise to her current position. No ordinary. It's said that she's the one behind the constant expansion of the Jade Chamber. It's the second most important thing to her. Even if she ever gave up the position of Tianquan, she would never give up the Jade.
The Jade Chamber is only second.
Why, Mora, of course.
All Ningguang talked about was the Fatui this and the Fatui that. She said that after Rex Lapis was murdered, the Fatui have constantly been trying to sink their...
That is how the Fatui have always been. It doesn't surprise me in the least. No matter what they may be planning, you must be careful when dealing with the Fatui. Oh.
So, is there anything we need to get for the rite of parting in Diwa Marsh?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there is. Today, we'll be...
Glaze lilies? But why did we come all the way out here? Doesn't the garden in Yujing Terrace have some? Oh, right! Paimon remembers that Madame Ping is always tending to flowers. Maybe we could ask her.
No. Those lilies have all been gardened by people. Dihua Marsh used to be full of glaze lilies. It is a sort of joyful flower that listens to human song. Before the Archon War, Dihua Marsh was all dry land and fertile soil. But the war caused landslides, and the land was flooded, turning it into the marsh you see now. Of course, there are some kinds of flowers that have been preserved and gardened by people in the city. But very few wild glaze lilies have the strongest fragrance. If we want to follow the true tradition of the rite of parting, we must grind up the wild lilies and place the powder in a scent. But I'll need your assistance in gathering these flowers. That's correct. Your singing will surely bring...
So how good is your singing? Really? Why does...
We'll only know once he starts singing.
Whenever you're ready.
Da 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 da.
What happened? These flowers are jumping. They look really angry. Is it because they sing a song from Mondstadt that they don't understand here in Lille? La la la.
One with my blade, from whence you came.
Fate is upon you. Those weren't glaze lilies. Glaze lilies wouldn't hit people.
This little monster is known as a whopper flower. Strange. These petals look interesting. The glaze lilies used as a disguise were buried with the whopper flower for too long. The result seems to have surprisingly potent medicinal value. Let's...
Well, that's nice and all, but...
Unfortunately...
That's so...
Excuse me. Are you searching for glaze lilies?
Oh, hey! It's... What's-her-face?
Yongu? Who's that? You've completely forgotten my name, haven't you? Ah, that reminds me. How was your visit to the Jade Chamber?
Well, it sure would have been better if you told us how to get up there.
Didn't I tell you the way? Surely I did.
Nope, we found the way on our own.
Oh, I see. Uh-oh. I guess I really did forget to tell them.
Something seems a little off about Ganyu. She's acting different from the first time we met. Where's her serious...
Well, I met you at that time as an emissary of the Tianquan. But now, I am simply out on a stroll.
You came all the way out here to see the flowers? Why not just enjoy the gardens of the city?
Yujing Terrace is where Rex Lapis parted from this world. If I strolled through those lonely gardens now, I wouldn't be able to bear it. Whenever my duties take me near Yujing Terrace these days, I draw the windows to block my view of the garden.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's quite all right. When the Archon War came to its end 2,000 years ago, the first iteration of the Seven would gather in Liyue and drink with Rex Lapis. But 5 of those original 7 had already passed before Rex Lapis. It's truly a changing of the guard. Yes. Now that the spirit of Rex Lapis has returned to the heavens, only Barbados of the other 5, including Inazuma's Raiden Shogun, are no longer the same friends from 2,000 years ago. Of the current 7 Archons, the youngest is Sumeru's god of Dendro. He is merely 500 years old, whereas Rex Lapis was more... This means that Liyue had been under Rex Lapis's rule from the moment it was first founded 3,700 years ago. The city has never...
So what do you think of this farewell?
Huh? This is a little sudden. As a mortal, I've never dared to imagine a Liyue without... But as an Adeptus, I think I will eventually come to grips with reality. Since Rex Lapis has passed, the time of...
Huh? Did you just say, as an Adeptus?
Yes, I am a mix of human and Chilean. Adeptus blood flows through my veins. I fought for Rex Lapis and the Cit. After the war ended, I signed a contract with Rex Lapis and took the position as secretary for the Qixing. I've continued those duties to this very day. Well, let's save that conversation for another day. You say I also know where wild glaze lilies can be found. See, I've just...
We dare not refuse it.
Oh, so did you sing a song before you...
Indeed. I did. I know this tradition well.
Wow, so you really know your stuff?
No, it is you who I should be thanking. If not for this chance meeting, I never thought that I would be able to contribute to the upcoming farewell for— If you would excuse me, I should
And that just about does it. Our preparations, given the ease of picking glaze lilies, I think this was a fitting end to our tasks, in more ways than one.
Yeah, Paimon can already imagine him starting a business and...
I've had enough ventures in my life already. Beginning a new undertaking is always difficult at first, and requires no small amount of effort. And once business is at full steam, so you must be careful to take the time to step back and re-examine yourself.
Wow. See? Zhongli sounds like... Alright, I think it's about time we head back to Liyue Harbor now.
This atmosphere is highly abnormal. It seems as though something big has happened. We should ask her...
Ah, you're the consultant to Wangsheng Funeral Parlor. Mr. Zhongli, I presume. The Millelith are watching our every move now. These are desperate
times?
The Adepti of Joyun Karst are finally on the move.
Do they intend to exercise force?
Most likely. I've heard that some members of the Qixing have already gone to meet them. Well, I say meet. However, both sides were quite obstinate.
It seems inevitable, given the current...
The Adepti do not acknowledge the Qixing. They only acknowledge the contracts of the Geo-Archon. If the two sides come to blows...
Surely the Liyue Qixing are not the sort to give in so...
Their boneheadedness is known throughout the lands. Yet it's because of that obstinacy that mortals and Adepti are now on the...
And what now? How is it that the...
That's all Ningguang. She proclaimed that in these tumultuous times, the Millelith must reign. Only now do they want to start keeping tabs on us? That's the Anyway, Mr. Zhongli, you're one of Child's close associates. Please understand that your actions will reflect on us. Don't let...
It looks like things are about to boil over in Liyue Harbor.
Do you intend to use your neutral identity as an intermediary between both sides? Neither path is an easy one.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Zhongli, we've heard that the Wangsheng Funeral Parlor has also been caught up in all of this. They're currently square...
Things are taking a turn for the worse. I'm afraid I must leave now to handle things back at Wangsheng Funeral Parlor. I hope that Master Hu has been able to keep things... Consider your next course of action carefully, Traveler. If you're trying to prevent an explosion, it may be wisest to look for the fuse first.
Having connections with the Fatui seems... So what does Zhongli mean by looking for the fuse? Oh, Paimon gets it. If there's anyone that wants to see the whole city turned up, he must be waiting for the moment when no one... But where could we find him next? Where would he go at a time like this? looked impressive enough from the outside, but who would have guessed that it was even fancier on the inside? This is where all of Teyvat's Mora is minted, right? In that case, maybe they won't notice if a few Mora go missing. Oh, so it's a trap! Tricky, but even if we can't take it, or better yet, take a nap on top of a mountain of Mora, it's like a dream come true! Oh, right. Back to business. It's quiet. Too quiet. Huh? Look! What happened here? Uh-oh. Paimon smells quick. We have to go make sure that the Exuvia is all right.
You've already fulfilled your task as guides, so why do you still linger here? Haven't you already seen enough trouble for today?
Huh? Who's there?
If you were Fatui, I imagine that you would be entitled to a generous reward from the Tsaritsa herself. But now, you're nothing but dross, and you're in my way. Where should I start? Well, I've never been one to beat around the bush, you know. But who could have possibly guessed that the god of Geo would mysteriously perish the very moment? If it weren't for that lovely little rite of parting ceremony you put together, it would have taken me a whole lot longer to get the information. Stopping the Mora mints, hiding away the Exuvia.
So you've been planning to take the Gnosis from inside the Exuvia all along?
As one of the 11 Fatui Harbingers, it's my... She will get that which she desires. I'm not asking for your blessing, and the time for discussion and diplomacy has already passed. I mean, if it were up to me, I would have skipped that stage to begin with. Either way, we now come to my favorite part. A simple pleasure, and one that... the battle.
Battle? So you're the type that...
You could say... When Signora offended the deities outside the cathedral in Mondstadt, she swiftly left the scene. Instead of confronting you directly, she chose to rely on the snow and ice to make her escape. She wouldn't want the knights to come running towards the sound. When she faces a worthy opponent, she will prioritize her mission. But as for me, the greatest pleasure of being a harbinger lies...
We won't let what happened in Mondstadt...
Oh, so you intend to fight me? Good. I won't. Besides, you could never defeat me, not even in your wildest dreams. But hey, try to relish the fight anyway. Fighting talk, I love it! This chance is hard to come by, so show me all you've got. So very few ever get the chance to square off with the Fatui Harbinger. So come now, amuse me, and don't you dare disappoint me. Passable effort.
Shadows of...
Run all you like. Not bad, not bad. Guess I should. Not bad. Guess I should. Good. No wonder Signora was so wary of you. Well, that just means I can go all out. Brace yourself. This is about to get tough. Now, show me what you can do against the might of a Harbinger.
Very clean. Attack!
You've got some skills. Not bad. Your swordsmanship is quite impressive. But that's about as far as you'll get. Didn't think you had that card hidden up your sleeve.
You were just playing us to get close to the Exuvia!
Oh, quiet down. Stop acting like some wide-eyed recruit. You've seen this world. You of all people should know. This should have been expected! Well then, I'll be taking Morax's Gnosis now! I see. Well, this is most unexpected. You beat me to it, didn't you?
This is going to cost you! You got to the Gnosis ahead of me, didn't you? Did you say that to me, Master? Or did you leave me in the Golden House to me on purpose? No matter. Hand the Gnosis over, now! Don't make me take it from you!
We didn't take it! Shadows of Fate! Barbados, guide us.
Submit for judgment!
Barely
A touch of frost! Twist and metal!
So you went.
Look! Child's back to normal!
Well then, it seems the burden of the foul legacy transformation was too great for my body. And now that I consider the matter more carefully, you never had any chance of beating me to the Gnosis. You had no connection to the Gnosis, no matter where it had been taken.
That's what we've been trying to tell you! We didn't take it!
Your show of ability today far surpasses that of Signora's initial assessment of you in Mondstadt. Tell me, how could that be? You already know the answer, don't you? I can see it in your eyes. But if that is a secret you wish to keep, I guess I'll just have to curb my... This battle has already left me satisfied. Anyone who strives as I do to grow stronger shall be called a friend. Even if our friendship can only be shown in battle against one...
Pretty sure that's not the normal way to make friends.
Unfortunately, I must bring this amiable converse. Given that the Gnosis wasn't taken by anyone, then we must look once again to the beginning. Perhaps it was never in the Exuvia to begin. In fact, it might be that the Exuvia was just...
What? So you mean that...
Yes, it appears so. Interesting to say, it seems that the guardian deity of the capital of commerce is also well versed in little maneuvers beyond the boundaries of contracts. As such, we must now...
Backup plan?
I had hoped it would never come to this. I absolutely detest working with those who are weak. The truth is, the world belongs to those of us who desire to become strong. I seldom willingly mingle with any... Unfortunately, we cannot be picky about our methods as Fatui Harbingers.
So what are you planning to do?
I will awaken the god that lies dormant beneath Guyon's stone forest.
A god?
Osial, overlord of the Vortex, who was defeated by Morax, the GR Archon in the Archon War, and who has remained pinned beneath... If such an ancient god were to be unleashed upon Liyue Harbor, do you think the cunning Rex Lapis would just stand aloof and watch the...
But the Archon War ended 2,000 years ago. How can it...
Simple. I've already prepared the means to awaken it.
Hey! Those are sigils of permission! Oh, Paimon remembers now. The Fatui have been researching them.
Indeed. The one that was given to you was just a byproduct of our research. With the power of so many sigils of permission concentrated in one place, along with that which was bestowed upon me as a harbinger by our Tsaritsa, breaking the subduing might of the Geo-Archon spears for a time should be no obstacle. Using the powers of ancient gods and such as, but knowing that such an action will not only force the Geo-Archon to show its hand, but you as well. Let's see. Will the nation that has lost its deity be swallowed up by an ancient malice once more? If you wish to drown together with the people of Liyue, you're free to stay and enjoy the show.
Huh? He's already gone! That guy is fast! What's going on? If we hadn't happened to see the Jade Chamber flying over just as we came out of the Golden House, we really would... Did we make it in time? Is the Overlord of the Vortex still in the sea? It hasn't destroyed...
What are you doing here?
Huh? Hold on. It's the Adepti. What are you doing on the Jade Chamber? Paimon thought you were arguing with the Qixing. Is the fighting over?
Faced with a calamity of such magnitude, we have agreed to put our differences aside for now and unite against this common enemy.
Oh, Paimon gets it. So how do you plan to defend Liyue? Just seeing this Overlord of the Vortex guy puts a pit in Paimon's tummy, even from all the...
It's not just you. We've got new Millelith recruits who can't even stand at attention without shaking. The force of an ancient god's presence seems to be too much for ordinary which is why we must stop that monster before it gets any closer.
So the Archon War was fought 2,000 years ago against enemies like that thing? So will the power of the Qixing, Millelith, and Adepti gathered here be enough to stop that god?
We've already discussed this together. And our conclusion is...
What? Wait, all of you are...
One certainly could.
Huh?
The Qixing did once research the matter of the Guizhong Ballista, and as fate would have it, one who did craft the Guizhong Ballista with one's own hands is here. For what could you mortals ever learn of Adepti mechanisms? Yet, it would take one, but a little tinkering to turn this ballista. And
I suppose this is one blessing from the Adepti that we should be thankful for. So be it. We shall use the upgraded Guizhong Ballista to fight off that god. All the Adepti here can lend their... We haven't a moment to spare.
Yep.
Empire manning the Guizhong Ballista. Do not let the Fatui disturb their work!
All able Millilith, with me!
Let's go help too!
We Adepti have not faced the god in several millennia. Let one see what you're made of then. What strength remains within you? What wishes to witness?
La la la!
No, not my work! Finished.
Let me scrub!
Twist and Merciful, submit for judgment!
Cook this through.
Shadows of fate!
That is Osial's divine power. I am... Be careful not to get hit.
The Fatui! Their attacks are unrelenting!
How dare you? Snezhnai's diplomats will answer for this afterward. Every last one.
No slack!
Were you about to say we can't hold them, children? Don't lose heart. Here, take this.
This is adeptal energy! That light from your body, it's like the time in Julian Karst! Wow, it's a Madam Pink shockwave! This green is really strong!
Barbados!
Forth, my blade! Seriously! Attack!
This isn't really... I guess this is it.
With the blood of the Chilean, I guard you against evil! Cast your fear of injury by the wayside and fight with all your might! I too did this during the Archon War!
So this is what Gunny's like in a fight!
My name means swiftness. Take my power and run as I do.
We're going too fast!
Strong in body and spirit. Perhaps you can withstand 3 forms of adeptal energy at once.
This will hurt a little. Please bear with us.
Once you've adapted, try to use that in battle.
Swift and merciful!
Delve into death!
Submit for judgment!
nothing worse to come, right?
Decided by destiny.
From whence you came!
This is fun. My work is finished.
Just
Spirit Blade! Attack! One with my blade!
over here. Let me scrub. Shine.
The Fatui's numbers are thinning!
Fight on, comrades! Once we finish this lot off, the Adepti will be able to deal with the god in peace!
The interlopers are no more. Now we may commit ourselves fully.
It's working! We just need to keep this up!
Be careful now.
The Guizhong Ballista is destroyed. Without its covering fire, retaliation shall be difficult.
But the Jade Chamber is our last line of defense. We can't give another inch, no matter what.
I have another idea.
What do you mean, Lady Ningguang?
I'll sacrifice the Jade Chamber.
What is the meaning of this?
I understand.
Traveler, lend me a hand. Farewell, old friend. Goodbye for now. Let us meet again in the future.
Is it finally over?
The ominous aura of that monster the effects of the sigil of it will be some time before the overlord of the Vort.
We are indebted to you for your assistance. If the Adepti hadn't happened to be here...
Save your flattery. We didn't just happen to be here. Surely you won't pretend to have forgotten the reason for which we came.
Come now. There's no need for such harsh words, Cloud Retainer. I've heard that when Ningguang began learning to do business, she had already started setting aside part of her then limited income in preparation for building the Jade Chamber. At first, it was only the size of a small room, But with continued expansion, it has become the palace that lies before. It is a testament to Ningguang's entire life. Both seeing the Jade Chamber destroyed in the defense of Liyue means much to her. To me, such cooperation and sacrifice.
Well, I was really hoping you would say that such sacrifice could at least be used as some. Thank you all for hearing me out. We know very well why the Adepti came here today. But please forgive us. We cannot.
Oh?
3,700 years. According to our records, the Adepti signed a contract with Rex Lapis to protect Liyue. Even to this very day, Liyue and its lands have stood the test of time, immovable as. But that does not mean that the Liyue of today do not merely cast your protective gaze upon the land. Instead, focus your sights on our city and each of the.
Are you questioning our means of protecting Liyue?
I mean no offense. I simply hope that our Adepti.
Forebearers, you say? One doubts you would be fit to be part of.
This morning, Rex Lapis appeared to me in a dream.
What?
In the dream, I yearned to tell him that we Qixing, though mortal, are equally bound to the contract. Each passing, I also thought to tell him how the past generations of Qixing had strove under his rule to survive, but I dared not speak. I could only gaze at him.
Oh, Ningguang.
Yet another perspective. What are you trying to say, Outlander?
Right! That's something that happened in Mondstadt. It's a story about the Four Winds and the people of the animal Archon. The animal Archon sought to quell the strife between the two sides, because he believed that such conflict would only scar the hearts of both, and that nothing good would come.
Each of the 7 nations has its own scars from.
Though your point is the very height of simplicity. As Adepti, we've become a laughingstock, to be chastised thus by an outlander who has lent us such succor.
All right, all right. Didn't Ningguang suggest that we should focus on the city and each of its citizens?
I apologize for appearing in full armor. I am afraid I cannot show the proper courtesies.
And who are you?
I am Feng Yan, a sergeant of the Millelith. I have come to extend my... I thought this battle would perhaps be my last. But thanks to the aid of the Adepti, although I am a mere mortal soldier, I
Huh? Why does everyone look so down? Didn't we
Weren't you frightened, dear?
I wasn't afraid. All the strong Millelith guards were there, and those powerful... When danger is near, everyone always protects me. And the rest of the time, they make fun toys and thanks for protecting Liyue Harbor.
Unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to participate.
Huh?
Because we are Adepti.
Oh, okay. Aww.
You see, this is what Liyue is like today. The country of contracts is grateful to the Adepti for their protection. But it is no longer necessary for the city to rely on the Adepti's power, although their blood is weak. There is the time of contracts between gods and Liyue has long since passed. Now is...
Seeing the port around us now, it is hard not to feel a bit out of place.
Your line of inquiry is askew. One did not spearhead this expedition to...
Seems like the Adepti have had a change of heart.
Let us return now.
Eager to leave, conqueror of demons.
Yes, one understands what the conqueror of demons means. One fears that by the time one finally grasps the new contracts of Liyue, you humans would have once again changed. Fair enough. Away we shall.
Since we Adepti have consensus, then one shall persist no further. But how will we ensure that the Liyue Qixing will not simply exploit their power once we depart?
All right, Mooncarver, you needn't worry. It seems to me that this right of supervision is best left to the people of Li.
Looks like the conflict between humans and Adepti was avoided. Oh, right! It's nice that we've... Child wanted to unleash the god so he could lure Rex Lapis out. But we were able to handle the Overlord of the Vortex on our own. So Rex Lapis never... Oh, and speaking of that, don't we still need to get to the bottom of that Archon's... Paimon doesn't get it. But isn't the strongest lead we have the Adepti-less rite of parting that we're organizing? No idea where Zhongli's gone. Let's ask for him at Wangshen Funeral Parlor.
Is there anything I can do for you two? I'm afraid that
we've come to see Zhongli.
Unfortunately, Zhongli isn't here at the moment.
Doesn't the Northland Bank... But last time we saw Zhongli was before we went to the... Do you think he doesn't know about the attack on Liyue? Visiting the Vituia, we had better go and make sure...
You call this cooperation between Harbingers? Cooperation involves communication, you know.
Don't take it to heart, child. Besides, aren't you happy that you got to skip the formalities and bring chaos to... Oh, it seems that some of your friends have arrived.
Hey, it's Zhongli and Child. And...
It's you two. I believe we've met once before. In the City of Bards, was it? I'm glad you still remember my name. Ah, right. I imagine that it must have been rather hard to forget watching helplessly as something...
No, don't let her get to you. You've yet to gather the powers of all 7 elements. And our last battle at the Golden House was almost more than you could handle. So it might be best to keep things peaceful.
Well, if it isn't you two. This is our first time seeing each other since Liyue was nearly wiped off the map. This is certainly a bit...
Paimon knew that we should never have trusted...
Oh, now don't say that. Sure, I may have misled you, but I never had anything against you personally. Besides, I thought we were getting along quite well together, didn't you? Except for that little tusk. Nothing personal. We just have different views, that's all. Of course, you may very well hold the real deceivers here are Senora and Zhongli. Curse them for leading me on. So actually, I think...
Stop wasting time, child. There'll be plenty of time to chat once you remember the agreement, Morax. Now, if you would be so kind. The Gnosis, please.
What in the world are you talking about?
The contract is fulfilled. That which thou seeketh is now bestowed unto thee. For my promise is...
How sanctimonious.
What? So you're the Lord of Geo? No, wait! That's an exciting twist and all, but why give the Gnosis...
I do not give it for free. I give it as agreed upon in the contract. For it is a matter solely between the Tsaritsa and I.
Yeah, you don't think you went a little bit too far with that whole fake death thing? Everyone was preparing the ceremony for you, and splat! This big dragon...
Gathering all the forces that had been bubbling behind the scenes, and then stirring them together in a pot that was bound to boil over. That's what he wanted to see, am I right?
Wait, what?
Perhaps it's best that I explain. As you know, I've dwelt upon this world for more than 6,000 years. I witnessed the founding of Liyue, together with the Adepti, 3,000. Even boulders that can withstand whirlpools will erode with the passing of time. I kept convincing myself that cracks had not begun until one drizzly day. As I was strolling along the harbor, I heard a merchant tell one of... I stood motionless among the crowds, asking myself...
Oh, Zhongli...
But as I began to consider relinquishing my divine role, I soon was Liyue, the city I had dwelt in for so long, already prepared to enter its next age? So I feigned my own death, and gathered the cast of Child, the Adepti, and the Liyue Qixing to play their roles together on the stage that was Liyue. That's right, which is why I continued to safeguard the Gnosis until now.
So you mean that if the chaos ever reached the point of no return, you would simply appear and use your divine powers to bring Liyue back under...
Of course. And it would have been all too easy for him to. Just as a child quickly matures after losing their parents, so has Li.
I was pleasantly surprised with the finale of the show that you all put on. Why, the Adepti deserve the greatest applause, considering their years of seclusion. They hardly recognized the city, yet faced with such a crisis, they exerted the greatest. And hats off to the emissary dispatched by the Archon to fulfill our contract. Signora. She managed to keep everything she knew in strict confidence, far from the eavesdropping ears of her colleague Child, just as I had requested. All the while, I carried on as Zhongli, and fulfilled the traditions of Liyue in this mortal form. These things were all a part of my script. The only unforeseen plot twist, I had expected them to do no more than the Adepti, to come to the defense of Liyue. They seized the opportunity to supplant Liyue's divine protectors, and used the subsequent power vacuum left by my...
Huh? That doesn't sound good at all!
On the contrary, I think it is excellent. I had always feared that it was too soon.
Hey, what about me? Doesn't anyone feel the least bit of remorse for deceiving me? You've practically kept me in the dark!
I think that thanks would be more appropriate. You certainly played no small part in all of this, wreaking havoc and turning the city upside down. The Lord of Geo ought to thank you for... If you hadn't created the pressure of a battle between mortals, Adepti, and a god, the lump of coal resting in the hands of the Geo Archon, Liyue, would never have been able to become a dazzling...
Huh? Just whose side are you on, mocking me like that? Are you itching for a fight? Hey, haven't you learned the Liyue saying, don't always call it as you see it?
Well then, with the Gnosis in my possession, I have no use for such idle chatter. We should return to Zappolyarny Palace and seek an...
Fine. I'll meet you there later. I'm not sharing a boat with the likes of you.
Do as you wish.
Now then, is there anything else you wish to ask me?
Right! As Zhongli always told us, a good trade...
Realistically speaking.
Huh?
However, I am the god of contracts. For thousands of years, I have... My agreement with the Cryo-Archon will be the last of my contracts as the Geo-Archon. My contract to end. As for the bargaining chip that the Tsaritsa used to balance the scales, uncover that answer for yourself in your future.
Paimon can't... so Zhongli, what sort of contract did you sign with the Cryo-Archon?
One of the clauses of our contract was not to divulge it.
Today's the day of the rite of parting. Although the star of the show is fake, we've spent so much time trying to organize it, it would be a real shame not to go there now.
So, are you buying or not?
You know that god from the ocean couldn't have just shown up out of nowhere. I mean, it's been 2,000...
Yes, and to think that this happened right on the heels of the incident with Rex Lapis.
Say, do you think the person who assassinated our lord and released that evil god might have been one and the same?
Now that you mention it, that's very I mean, it all fits together. That person must have colluded with the evil god to harm Rex Lapis. Still, what sort of supernatural prowess must this person possess to be able to...
Ah, forget it. Guessing's no use to us. Look, the Millilith over there looks like he's about to make an announcement.
Oh, well, since we're going through with this rite of parting, I guess it means that those rumors hit the nail on the...
So Rex Lapis is really...
Oh, come on. Do you think that the assassin could have been a normal person? You know what I think? There's only one real possibility in my mind. I've heard that the assassin was that Fatui fellow. Youngish, pretty high in rank.
The Fatui? They
Shh! Lower your voice. If the Fatui...
Hear ye all! The Qixing's words. Though a dragon soars ageless as the mountains, it too must gods and adepti live glorious lives. Rumors and hearsay abound on the streets that Rex Lapis was murdered. Having been thwarted in his trial, Rex Lapis's soul has recouped the celestial heights. Nor are they to believe street-born rumors or indulge in baseless speculation.
Paimon needs a translation on what the Qixing's announcement said. So that's how there's... Something feels off. Why would they suddenly give up looking for the murderer? Not to mention how this... Could the Qixing already have known that Rex Lapis wasn't dead? But Zhongli... Did Zhongli tell them in secret after his gnosis changed hands? Exactly, right? Ooh, seems like the rite of parting has been going on for a while now. Look, it's Ningguang and Keqing. Are they saying something? Are there...
As said previously, Rex Lapis's soul returning to the heavens is the end of the contract. And it is also the end of an era.
3,700 years of contracts.
We, the people of Liyue, were indeed prosperous. But
the long, unending dream of our Archon walking...
Now that we have awoken from our dream, will you stand with us as we re-establish our
So concludes the words of Her Eminence the Tianquan. Does Her Eminence the Yuheng have anything to add?
Huh? Is she looking this way?
Traveler.
Yikes! She really is looking our way!
Is that the traveler who they say defeated the ancient god?
So young.
The Liyue Qixing always repay their debts. And as you have heard, our eyes see far and our reach is long. Name your price. You deserve it.
Whoa!
Well, could you help me put up some missing person posters?
And to think I'd put my best perfume on before coming here. But it seems as if those perfumes really were meant... Well, that's fine. Suffer no rivals in love, they... The cleanup of the premises, managing the crowds as they exit...
Why, you... Were you just trying to look cool earlier, or are you... If you were looking for someone, you could have just told me that in private.
Roping you in was possibly the most masterful move we could have made. I believe that future generations will say so too.
Hey, Zhongli! Look at this. Everyone in Liyue is caught up in their emotion, and here you are looking all...
Why would I not feel more at ease? Right. If the two of you can spare the time.
Ha! That sounds like big talk, Zhongli. Paimon might have believed you if you were treating us to some third-round knockout, but you'd have to pay out your nose just to stand inside Xinyue kiosk.
You're right. I do like the Mora. As the Rex Lapis Morax, I can easily create Mora. But since I have chosen to walk when I was journeying with you, though I still had the Gnosis in hand, I knew that I must soon retire from my role as an Archon.
Oh, no wonder! Paimon gets it now. You didn't look at the price but since you weren't used to not being able to just make more Mora as and when you wanted to, you had to try becoming a parasite to...
Well, we were only spending Fatui money. In the City of Commerce, we do not merely exchange money or goods. We also exchanged the Archon Morax. Could never experience life as the true mortal Zhongli could. No matter how many times he I will treasure the memories that I made as Zhongli. Traveling the streets of Liyue with... That is true. But there is no journey that does not end.
Paimon thinks that we should make a move and continue...
I fear that continuing your journey may be difficult. The nation that neighbors Liyue by sea, the Electro-Archon Ball. And just as the people of Liyue preferred to call me Rex Lapis, she too goes by another name among locals in Inazuma.
Paimon thinks we've heard that one before.
That is the case. And since Raiden is also the shogun of the Inazuma Bakufu, people call her the Raiden Shogun.
That said, though people at the wharf were saying that the situation in Inazuma is very tense, Paimon doesn't remember that always. Zhongli, since you're Rex Lapis, shouldn't you know something about what's happening there?
It's because of visions.
Visions?
When faced with circumstances beyond their control, humans, but if a person shows true strength of will at a desperate and fateful moment in their life, this is what visions are. Magical foci bestow.
That's how people.
But starting from last year, the Raiden Shogun began promulgating the
Vision hunt?
Yes. It was an order to seize all visions within Inazuma's borders, and to inlay them upon the...
They want to seize visions. But why? Aren't visions blessings from...
I should think that in the Raiden Shogun's eyes, it is precisely because...
Whoa!
The Anemo Archon is the god of freedom, and the Geo Archon is the god of contracts. For her part, the Raiden Shogun is the god of eternity. It seems as though she has finally decided to eliminate any unstable elements that could pose a threat to her. The fact that even I, the oldest of the seven, have now passed away, will only strengthen her resolve. Knowing her, she must have again quoted that adage she is most fond of when proclaiming that 7 ideals for 7 gods, and of these, eternity. All right then. Was there anything else you wish to know? That was a good one. Failing a divine trial. That said, the reason why the Qixing were so eager to resolve the incident and stop pursuing the cult, I hinted as much to the Adepti as well. How did I accomplish that, you ask? Have you ever... All right then. Was there anything else you wished? That said, I hinted as much to the... How did I accomplish that, you ask? All right then. Was there anything else you wish to know?
Yeah, about that. Before the Qixing made their announcement, we listened to a lot of people talking on the way.
These are indeed false accusations. But it remains undeniably true that Child did send... I've heard that Ningguang is busy milking that for all it's worth on the foreign relations front at the moment. Those poor Snezhnayan diplomats. If it were not for Child's exalted position as a harbinger, I'm certain that they would have... All right then. Was there anything... The time of the Adepti has lost... Kuching is absolutely right in saying... Now, though I did laud Ningguang's desire for power, believing this to be a good thing, and thought as a matter... Could the original person who brought up the idea of seizing power have been... All right then. Was there anything else you...
That's right. Zhongli, now that you don't have your gnosis, what's going to happen to all the Mora in Teyvat? Since Morax is dead. Also, isn't the Golden House the only mint in the entire continent? Will it even...
The Mora present now will not vanish. But the Golden House will indeed have to cease operations.
This is terrible! We're all about to...
Yes, this is indeed a major issue. Well, I suppose...
Then, did you at least set some private funds aside for...
Oh, a private fund.
What's a shame?
It's a shame that I didn't think of it at the time. All right then. Was there anything else you wish? Well then, I suppose you'll have to find a way to get inside this. All right then. Was there... Well then...